In Arani, Tamil Nadu, India, a workplace tragedy occurred at the end of December 2025 when a parked lorry began to roll on its own from a higher surface. A worker attempted to stop the vehicle manually as it moved, reaching toward the front of the truck in an effort to halt its motion. At that moment, the lorry continued rolling and made contact with the worker before colleagues could intervene. The individual later passed away due to the incident. Recognizing hazards associated with unattended vehicles on inclines or uneven surfaces is essential for workplace safety. Before leaving a vehicle parked, personnel should ensure that effective wheel chocks, parking brakes, and surface stabilization are in place and verified. Workers should be trained to avoid direct physical interaction with moving vehicles and instead use mechanical controls or seek immediate assistance from trained operators. In a construction trench where sewer pipe was being installed, a worker was performing excavation and alignment tasks within a narrow excavated area beneath a roadway. During the activity, one of the vertical soil walls unexpectedly gave way, causing a collapse. Co-workers quickly attempted to provide assistance and secure the area, and emergency responders were called to the scene. Despite these efforts, the individual later passed away due to the incident. The event underscores the hazards associated with excavation work when protective measures are not fully implemented. Effective excavation work requires both planning and protective structures to prevent soil collapse. Before any worker enters a trench, competent personnel should assess soil stability, and methods such as sloping, shoring, or shielding must be installed to support trench walls. In a restaurant in China, a portable gas grill placed on a table for diners to cook food suddenly exploded. Video surveillance shows a brief but intense fireball that caused diners to quickly evacuate the area. The incident appears to have been triggered by a gas leak, which ignited as a spark came into contact with the accumulated propane. Portable gas grills and similar cooking devices require careful handling and inspection before use. Gas connections should be verified for leaks, equipment should never be overpressurized, and devices should be used on stable, non-flammable surfaces. At a construction site, a worker was performing tasks to separate a concrete formwork from a building by using drill. The worker positioned one foot on a wooden plank and the other on the concrete slab while working. As the concrete slab became dislodged from the structure, the worker lost balance and fell. Working at heights or on unstable surfaces requires careful assessment of support and footing before beginning any task. Workers should avoid standing on materials that are not fully secured and use appropriate scaffolding or fall protection systems. At a loading area, a truck had just completed unloading materials, and the tail lift began to close. A worker nearby noticed that the lift was not fully secured and stepped close to adjust it. While attempting to pull the tail lift into position, it struck the worker's face. Maintaining a safe distance from moving equipment is essential, even when attempting to correct operational issues. Workers should never place themselves within pinch points or moving areas of lifts, and any adjustments should only be made after the equipment is fully powered down or immobilized. Footage from a security camera captured a sudden influx of water entering a commercial space when intense flash flooding occurred in the region of Chamchamal in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. The video shows water rapidly advancing into the shop, overwhelming the interior and displacing fixtures, as the owner attempted to manage the situation. Local officials reported that the flash floods caused by heavy rains resulted in infrastructure damage and multiple casualties in the area. Rapid onset flooding presents severe hazards in both commercial and outdoor environments, and preparedness is essential for reducing risk. On December 21, 2025, in Hubei, China, security footage captured a roadside incident near a fruit vendor's tent. A vehicle lost control, slid and overturned, colliding with the fruit tent. Fortunately, the vendor inside the tent was safe with minor injuries. This event highlights the importance of maintaining safe distances between pedestrian areas, roadside businesses, and moving vehicles. Vendors and workers should use barriers or clear perimeter markers to protect both themselves and patrons. Drivers should exercise caution in congested or busy roadside areas, and pedestrians should remain aware of vehicle movement to reduce risk. On New Year's Eve in Jiangsu, China, a pedestrian was standing in the middle of the road watching fireworks when a vehicle struck him. Authorities later determined that the driver was fully responsible for the incident. the driver promptly transported the injured individual to a nearby hospital. This situation underscores the importance of remaining vigilant around moving vehicles, especially during celebrations or public events. Pedestrians should avoid standing in active roadways, and drivers must maintain awareness of potential obstacles, even during festive periods. Communities can reduce risks by establishing safe zones for fireworks, enforcing traffic control measures, and raising public awareness about road safety during holidays and high-traffic events. Inside a manufacturing facility, workers were performing routine assembly tasks when a worker attempted to secure a metal sheet with sharp corners onto a frame structure. While flipping the sheet into position, one of its corners cut through the worker's protective boot and caused an injury to the foot. Co-workers immediately responded, provided first aid. Handling sharp materials requires the use of appropriate personal protective equipment, including reinforced footwear and cut-resistant gloves. Workers should also use tools or clamps to manipulate metal sheets instead of relying solely on manual handling. Proper training on material handling, awareness of pinch and cut points, and maintaining clear communication among team members are essential measures to reduce the risk of similar injuries in industrial environments. Encouraging a culture where workers report potential hazards and consistently follow safety protocols ensures long-term prevention of incidents. Inside a steel factory in China, 2 workers were performing routine polishing on standing steel discs. While the task initially proceeded normally, some of the discs unexpectedly fell and made contact with a worker's leg. Nearby colleagues acted quickly to secure the area and free the individual. The worker was reported injured during the incident and transported to the nearby hospital. Working with heavy materials requires careful attention to stability and proper handling procedures. Steel discs and similar items should be securely positioned or clamped before any polishing or maintenance. Workers should maintain safe distances, use appropriate support equipment, and remain aware of potential tipping hazards. Regular safety inspections and team awareness can prevent injuries when handling large, heavy, or unstable materials in industrial settings. In addition, implementing clear standard operating procedures for moving and positioning heavy items, along with mandatory use of personal protective equipment such as steel-toed boots and protective leg guards, can further reduce risks. Supervisors should conduct periodic refresher training to reinforce safe handling practices, and teams should communicate effectively when working in close proximity to heavy machinery or materials. Creating a culture where safety checks are routine and everyone is empowered to speak up about hazards significantly enhances overall workplace safety.